Hi people, this is Speaking of Wrestling Time. I'm gonna recap Monday Night Raw, July 20th. And I read there were a lot of people who didn't like this Raw. I can definitely see what they mean, but I don't think it was that craptacular. I mean, I've seen worse, far worse. What I can say, however, it did not live up to the magnitude of a Raw before a pay-per-view. The hype. It did not live up to that. I'm looking forward to Triple H, Randy Orton and John Cena for Night of Champions. It's been a long build-up, a long time in the making, and that's definitely an interesting match. They built that up pretty well with a promo in the opening, which I loved. I loved the Triple H comment of "What the hell is a Hobbit?" And by the way, we also got the cursing word on Raw. We also had Mickey James calling Maurice a tramp. Side notes. A lot worse language on Raw now, and I read somewhere that they're gonna do PG-13, so they're raising the bar now in WWE. I don't know if it's temporary or if it's now a move of once again turning up the volume. We could hope that it is, because let's face it, PG rating is for kids. I still like watching WWE Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views, but it's more interesting if the product gets more mature, more intellectual. However, that match was that triple threat match, they done a pretty good job of building that one up. I will come up later this week with my preview of Night of Champions and my predictions on who's going to win the matches. But right now I want to face on Raw. One thing I don't like, I don't know why Chavo doesn't leave WWE Raw. I don't know if they are punishing Chavo for Vicky Guerrero leaving Raw, want to spend more time with her family. I don't know if that's the case, but for most part of Chavo's career in WWE, they have misused him, made him look like a fool, and now, I mean, come on, losing 3 times to Hornswoggle is a joke. Hornswoggle shouldn't even be on TV anymore. I think most people, except the kids, which WWE product is projected to. Yeah, I know, it's projected on the kids, but he can't be happy. Chavo can't be happy on Raw, and he deserves so much better because he's one great wrestler. I really like Chavo Guerrero, and I think it's very disrespectful what they're doing to him, making him look like the laughing stock of Raw. Same thing now with the Brian Kendrick. However, I think he brought it on himself, because it was last fall. He had a huge push defeating Jeff Hardy on SmackDown, going into WWE Unforgiven scramble match for a WWE Championship match. However, he was caught several times smoking, I believe it was cannabis backstage, and Vince McMahon told him, "You're gonna get fined every time you do it," and right after that, Kendrick's D-push started, and this Monday he lost to Jerry the King Lawler. All respect to Jerry Lawler, but losing to someone who's 60 plus, who steps in the ring on TV perhaps 3 times a year, not being nearly as athletic as Kendrick, that's of course degenerative to his career, and he's gonna go down. I don't think he can go any further down. Kendrick said that Chris Jericho is going to pick him up as a partner. Not going to happen. That would be a sensation. Other than that, I kind of like the main event. There are a lot of Triple H haters out there. I am not one of them. But look here, Triple H got dominated throughout the entire match. Triple H even said during the promo something he said later that he didn't mean. Of course, but that... he doesn't care as long as Orton loses the title. Who wins it? Cena, however, got the pin in that handicap match, pinning Orton. This kind of leaves Triple H on the outside of things, because now we have Orton the champion. Cena pinned the champion Orton. Question is, where does that leave Triple H? He could of course win that match, and it doesn't have to affect it that much, but still, Triple H does not always dominate the match. Even though I said he always ends up on the winning side of things, much like at the Bash, I don't see the reason why he had to knock down Randy Orton with a sledgehammer after losing, because it killed the heat Orton had built up by cheating, because when it was all said and done, Triple H was the main man, and if you kill the heat Orton builds up, then Triple H is eventually gonna kill the pops he gets from the crowd, because I mean, a heel is supposed to prevent a face from giving to the crowd, but as Triple H is always able to give it to the crowd in a situation like that, he will also limit the pop. I don't know if you understood that equation. However, this time Triple H is somewhat on the outside. He's the X factor of this match. He has had his feud with Randy Orton now over the course of a few months since WrestleMania. It's now time for Cena, maybe. And I wouldn't mind actually seeing Triple H John Cena on SummerSlam. I think WWE for quite some time have been trying to book Batista versus John Cena. I think that was meant to happen at WrestleMania 25. It did not happen. Batista got injured, he came back. They might have tried to do it for SummerSlam, John Cena versus Batista too. Batista got injured again. Some say he's suspended right now. I doubt that. I know Umaga got suspended and fired for failing the WWE wellness policy. What else happened this night on Raw? We got a lot of divas. That's also a thing showing now, except the curse words, that WWE is tuning up the volume. We got more sexual slurs with the divas. We had the bikini contest on Raw last week. Now we had the legs thing with CC Top. So maybe the WWE is tuning up the volume. As I said, we don't know if it's temporarily or permanently, but I think WWE should do it permanently. I can see it's not going to be another Attitude Era, but could tweak it a little, because I think WWE has now won the confidence back, and the heat from the Chris Benoit double murder suicide affair is now simmering. Because I think that was why WWE mainly became so family friendly. CC Top as special guest hosts, I don't think they were so characteristic. I don't know what you think, but I don't think they were so. I expected more from them. They were kind of laid back, didn't make that much of an impression. You didn't really get the impression that they were in charge overall. I loved Santino Marella joining them, even though I think Santino Marella has become too much of a clown. I liked him joining them, and I also liked CC Top coming out, because I think a lot of people questioned whether CC Top really was in the arena or not. But they were. They came out, but perhaps the weakest special guest hosts yet. Although I like this concept, and I'm looking forward every week to see what these guest hosts will do on Raw. Shaquille O'Neal is going to be next week. We all know he's a big wrestling fan too, just like CC Top, because he's always in the crowd, sitting front row. So I think that's good. However, I think one thing that could be interesting that WWE could do is not pushing every special guest host on Raw as a face, being against Orton. Now CC Top weren't specifically against Orton, but with some $1 Million Man was it. Batista definitely was it, of course. Seth Green was it. CC Top still favored the faces. Shaquille O'Neal probably is going to be a face special host too. I think we could expect that. They need to bring in more heels. They could bring in old wrestlers. I mean, they wouldn't take any harm in being a heel GM for a night. And if we want celebrity heels, I think there are celebrities who could step in the ring and be happy with being a heel. Of course, we have Pete Rose, who could be a heel. And what the heck ever. I mean, there are always people who could step in being heels, and they need that. I think that it could be. They are doing very good as they do right now with this special guest host, but I think a heel special guest host wouldn't harm. So, summing up this Monday Night Raw, Chris Jericho's promo backstage with Legacy was great. And it's telling them that it could be Randy Orton being his partner. It's not going to be Randy Orton, but that's interesting because it could really be anyone. It looks like it will be Dolph Ziggler, but thing is, Dolph Ziggler has his match with Rey Mysterio. Is he going to work double? And if Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler is first, is the genius mind of Chris Jericho really going to allow Dolph Ziggler to also be Chris Jericho's partner and therefore step into another match and have a second match of the night, which would, in Chris Jericho's eyes, be a risk because Ziggler could be tired. This is a great story. Thanks for watching my recap. See you later.